You're watching Colorado's News Channel. This is News 4 This Morning, early edition.
The government's star witness in the Oklahoma City bombing case returns to the stand later this morning. This is day 2 of testimony by Michael Fortier.
The Secretary of State will stop in Denver later this morning. We'll tell you why Madeleine Albright is coming home.
And we can't get enough of this. Miami picking up the pieces this morning. We're going to show you more of a tornado that ripped through parts of the city, just missing the skyscrapers. It's incredible. Thanks for sharing part of your Tuesday morning with News 4. I'm Katie Kiefer.
And I'm Philip Palmer. All those stories in just a moment. But first, Scott has a first look at your forecast. It is pretty nice.
Amazing pictures there. You know, can that kind of thing happen here? You probably wonder. Some of you remember.
It's amazing to me that more tornadoes, the tornadoes generally miss the huge major metropolitan areas.
Well, stay tuned. We'll show you pictures of here in an incident. First of all, your forecast for this morning, a fantastic way to start the day. The sunrise is upon us. Temperatures nice. We're sitting at 48 degrees right now. Here's your bus stop forecast. We're going to look for temperatures to be 55 by 8 o'clock. We've got plenty of sunshine and store temperatures right around 80 degrees. And we'll see how long that's going to be keeping up this week in just a little bit. First of all, let's go ahead and check in with Daryl Luby this morning and see how things are moving along on the streets. Good morning, Daryl.
Good morning. Moving along very nicely, actually. We've got no slowdowns at this point. Volume is starting to build, but not a big problem. Watch out for a stall in traffic eastbound 70 at Steele. I'm Daryl Luby, KOA Traffic Operator 850. Katie and Philip, back to you in the News 4 studio.
Take it easy out there, Daryl. Defense attorneys will try to cast more suspicion on Michael Fortier when the trial of Timothy McVeigh picks up later this morning in Denver. And coming up, more cross-examination of Fortier. Yesterday, he told jurors his former Army buddy, Tim McVeigh, cased the federal building in Oklahoma City and was determined to trigger an uprising in America. We've seen Fortier before in jeans and a T-shirt, but in court yesterday, he was dressed in a suit and tie. He said the motive for the bombing was Waco. He quoted Timothy McVeigh as saying he and Terry Nichols were going to blow up a federal building and wanted Fortier to take part in it. Under cross-examination, Fortier admitted telling the FBI, quote, "You give me immunity, I'll give you McVeigh."
Secretary of State Madeleine Albright will visit Denver later this morning, giving us a sneak peek at what is expected during this summer's Summit of the Eight. I'll show you video of Albright during her swearing-in ceremony at the White House in January. On her Denver agenda today, Ms. Albright will be the keynote speaker at a luncheon for the Women's Foundation of Colorado. She is expected to talk about the issues that world leaders will discuss at the June summit. The time is 6:02, 48 degrees, and this morning the appeals process has been nearly exhausted for Colorado death row inmate Gary Davis. Davis was convicted of raping and murdering a woman in Byers in 1986. He was sentenced to die. His appeal reached the U.S. Supreme Court Monday, which refused to hear the case. Davis now has one appeal left. If it is denied, the state will schedule his execution.
Can you help police in Westminster find the suspect involved in a deadly Westminster bank robbery? This is what they're hoping that you'll use this morning, your morning newspapers. In today's Denver Post and the Rocky Mountain News, large ads appear asking for information on the suspect in the crime. One man was murdered when the Colorado National Bank in Westminster was robbed early last month. A customer was also shot but survived. The bank is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the suspect.
We're coming up on 6:04, and let's take a look at the day. Boy, I tell you what, temperatures upper 70s, 80 degrees. On the average for this date, we should be sitting at around 70 degrees, so we'll take that. In fact, 70 will be a beautiful day in the foothills. A few clouds coming in the afternoon period. Northwest winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour. 78 degrees south into Douglas County. You folks in Aurora, look for 78 for the high as well. Now for this evening, just an isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible, so pretty nice day in store. Let's go ahead and take a look at pinpoint traffic. Had a little bit of slowing at Lincoln and I-25. Let's check in with Daryl Luby, see if there have been any accidents yet this morning. Daryl?
Fortunately, no accidents yet to tell you about, but we do have that stall in traffic still eastbound 70 at Steele. Another one on westbound Arapahoe approaching Revere. That's sitting in the left lane, so speeds over to the right side there. And keep in mind that starting at 9 o'clock this morning, you're going to have road construction, right lane closed on I-25, both north and southbound, right at the Washington Street overpass. That's going to jam things up there. I'm Daryl Luby, KOA Traffic Operator 850. Katie and Philip, back to you in the News 4 studio.
Thanks so much, Daryl. The cleanup is underway in Miami, Florida this morning, a day after a tornado ripped through parts of Florida's largest city. The tornado swirled over, around, through buildings, sending poles and trees toppled as frightened people either just fled or stood and kind of watched numbly. Correspondent Robert Burns is in downtown Miami now. And Robert, you know, some of the quotes coming out of yesterday where this was something you didn't hear, you felt. What was it like yesterday?
It was absolutely the most incredible thing for a tornado of this magnitude to go through a city as large as Miami. One can only imagine. It was like people described it as a freight train. Things were flying everywhere. It was a miraculous day, actually. We only had about 100 people put out of their houses last night. About 22 stayed here at the Red Cross shelter. But look at this video, would you? As the tornado cut through the heart of Miami yesterday at about 1:45. Right in the business time of the day. First touching down in our Cuban district, Little Havana, and then hitting the business district, ripping up trees, tossing cars, blowing buildings apart, ripping roofs off houses and apartment complexes. And incredibly, no one was seriously injured. One person had a heart attack, but no one killed, no one seriously damaged. Then it skipped out over Biscayne Bay, hitting a string of very posh residential islands named Venetian Causeway. And then more than 5,000 homes and businesses went without power for most of the day and into the night. We had Florida Power and Light putting them back on. And then the tornado went right back up into the clouds where it started out. 600,000 people, at least in this town during the business day, and no one killed, no one seriously injured. Folks around here are calling May 12th a day of miracles. Live in downtown Miami, I'm Robert Burns. Back to you, Philip and Katie.
Robert, one of the things that, you say it's miraculous, so many people didn't seek shelter. They may have heard about it, seen it, and went to the windows to watch.
It's the exact opposite of what we're all told, but I believe that this was just so incredibly enticing, kind of a fascinating thing. And a lot of those people obviously had video cameras, and they took video, as some of the natural sound you can hear seeping through over the video is people saying, oh my gosh, we should be getting away from this window. But they can't pry themselves away. It's just so electrifying.
And quickly, one of the pieces of video we saw, you actually could see a plane landing in the background. I'm assuming that would have been the Pan American flight where they hit turbulence, or the American Airlines.
Right. That was a flight in from Boston, and those folks, I think they did like the Pope. They kissed the ground as soon as they landed here in Miami. The plane dropped several thousand feet, tossing people around, but no one was seriously injured.
A miraculous day. Robert, thank you very much for your help this morning. It's Robert Burns, live from Miami.
Tough part about that, passengers on that plane said they thought they hit another plane. It was so bad.
And again, minor injuries for the folks on the plane. And I did not know that you could see it in the video landing in the background.
Yeah. Has this ever happened in Colorado? Well, we're going to show you later here on News 4 this morning what happened in our fine city. Plus, coming up at 6:22, we now have the Avalanche and the Red Wings preparing for Thursday's big matchup.
And later, we'll tell you how a local couple is preparing for a visit to the David Letterman Show. All part of his special tribute to the Mile High City.
But next, your first look at business headlines and the Tuesday market numbers when News 4 This Morning continues.